Right. Okay. So we started our journey with this very basic question: what's the purpose of education? And we came up with the answer that the purpose of education is to live, which in a way means that living, education, learning are actually all synonyms. They're not different. Um, and they all kind of, it's just the same thing, meaning if you live you are always learning, if you are learning you are alive, and kind of thing. And typically we learn what we like, which is like what we like to live, as in what we like to do, because that is what living is, doing what you are doing. So all of this adds up to me being the leader of myself. So this whole thing translates into we allowing or welcoming or inviting the child or the learner to kind of lead their life, um, which essentially translates into letting the child lead, letting the child learn, letting the child decide what to learn, how to learn, how much to learn, and also take their journey into a professional journey in the way they want to take it, with their dreams, their aspirations, their style, their timelines, and so on. Yeah. So it's that open, and we think life should be that open and that much fun to live. Um, well, more than fun, it also means that there's a lot of responsibility onto the learner, which is, I think, the children are, by their very nature, kind of very responsible. If I see a toddler, that tells me how responsible they are for their learning, for their growth, because they go about doing exactly what they think they need to be in the world. Yeah. Okay. So in terms of a progression, we see somewhere when children are very young, they start with a lot of exposure. So, um, you know, Karthikeya, you were saying I think your daughter, I think, is 2 years. So that's the age of a lot of exposure there. For them, everything is new. Everything is to explore. Sorry, to get exposed to touch, feel, and all that. And as they grow older, they start getting their interests. They start saying, this is of interest to me, or that is of interest to me. So they started kind of channelizing their energy into what pulls them. Some play sports, some go into music, some like build things and so on, some like nature. And obviously many like a combination of these. So they go into exploration stage, which is typically the age, let's say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 kind of. And as they grow further older, enter into teen years, they want to now get into developing skills, diving deep into few selected areas. The key word to us is deep diving. So that's when they get into doing something in a deep way. Yeah, and finally, they lead themselves into whichever kind of enterprise they want to. That is, if they want to earn out of that. So that's like it's like a progression or a journey. Not that when we reach enterprise or expertise, we stop getting exposed or stop exploration. So all of this kind of continues. So there's a fair amount of overlap, and that's the fun of life. Uh, so in if now so this if that is open learning, so what is Aarohi? So Aarohi is a community of families who do open learning and are connected to each other and kind of enjoy working with each other, learning from each other, supporting each other, and in that sense living together. Not necessarily in the same physical space. So families are from different cities, like Preeti was mentioning. Uh, Mumbai, and somebody could be in Bangalore, traveling in UP, and so on. So each home becomes a community or a campus by itself. Then Aarohi has its own campus, which is where I am right now, which is near to Bangalore, but in a village about 60 kilometers. And obviously, families travel to each other's house or home, and that becomes a learning journey. And plus, we think that the whole world is our classroom, so we kind of travel, yeah, anywhere and everywhere with others or as a family or just the learner, whoever wants to travel. Um, a word about Coversity. Well, it's more like a journey where you kind of start discovering what is it that you really like doing, and then start taking that doing or that domain to a professional level. It could be one domain or even multiple domains or multiple interests. Yeah, so that's the journey of a Coversity, where the idea is to discover what is of your interest, and then kind of work and do industry work, do projects, do internships, and so on, and well, move on to your professional level with helps of guides and mentors and so on. But the core idea is to develop oneself at the core, so that at any point of time in future, as the world evolves, as the future evolves, and as we evolve, so which means things may change for us, our choices may change, but we are able to do what we want to do, simply because we have developed ourselves. We've made ourselves stronger, developed our own skills. So that's the whole idea of Coversity. It's not so much bound to one particular profession. It's more bound to me becoming stronger. Yeah. So that's like a little visual map of various things. I think I would rather let the Coversity team talk about it. So in general, if I look at open learning, whether it's the older age of Coversity or the younger exploration age, the idea is that, hey, we build ourselves because we have belief in ourselves, and the rest will happen. We are not worried about anything else. We are just enjoying deeply doing and learning. Right, so that's like a quick introduction. Hopefully some of it made sense and some of it was relevant to you. So what we'll do today is we have Srijini. Hi, Srijini. And we have Drupad joining in. Drupad, your video is pretty dark. Can you change your place or switch on some lights? A little bit. So that, yeah, that's much better. Okay, and I will spotlight these two guys, Drupad and Srijini. They will little talk about what they have been up to as part of Coversity, and what others are there, their cohort members. Little introduction, and so that's the agenda today. We'll hear from them, interact with them for some time, at least about half an hour or so, and then we can move on to any other questions. So right now we'll just focus on them. Yeah. So yeah, you guys can take over. Over to you.
Hi everybody, my name is Drupad. I've been part of Coversity for 2 weeks now, and yeah, I've been basically I've taken up 2 projects till now, and the first one is like I took up a social media campaign for Coversity. So I'm into like the digital marketing and all of those things. So that was a project for the 1 week of experience. I took that project because it felt like a project that could, it's good enough for the 1 week. And I worked on the content part of it. So I did some graphic designing and scheduled posts and stuff. And now I've taken up website designing for, well, a client, but I'm not getting paid. So yeah, I've been working on analyzing different websites and designing a website. And it's the first time making a website, and it's an e-commerce website. So it's probably going to be a little difficult for me, but I think through Coversity, there are a lot of connections and people that can help, and that makes a difference. So yeah, that's what I'm doing as of now.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Srijani and I'm 16 years old and I'm part of Coversity for around a month now. So yeah, it was a beautiful journey and evolving journey that I went through this whole month. So just like Drupad, even we in Coversity, we started off by taking individual projects and some daily workouts for us to start deep diving into our domain. I'm into baking, so especially baking into cakes. So we started off by I started off by taking a project of making three types of buttercreams and kind of trying to master that the recipes of buttercreams. And finally the I go like my make and go out to the world and get feedback from experts and other people too. So that was my project, which I completed just like yesterday. So yes, that's one main chunk. Other is that I also took up a daily workout that I'll be baking cupcakes every single day with a twist. Like for example, like I bake a cup, like three different cupcakes. One cupcake with lots of flour, like the maida, and other cupcake with less, another with the right amount. So that by doing all this kind of experiments, one day I did with sugar, substituting with different ingredients, and all of that kind of experiments I started doing to understand how each ingredient's role is in baking. So these two were main chunks that I have been doing, but there are a lot more that we do. So we both will keep sharing what we did. Yeah. Yeah. uh, And we also as a cohort
So,
do different stuff together. Uh, do you want to share about them, Drupad?
yeah, so our cohort members are into different fields, some in the same, like, and one of our members is into app development, which is something similar, and website. She has designed like I think a few websites. So she's kind of doing something similar. So that way I have someone else that I can collaborate with and talk to. And we have people in other fields as well. So there's another person, even Srijani has someone else with her in cooking, not baking, but it's similar enough to connect and go back and forth to learn more from each other. And obviously, they uh, give different names and stuff, as in of two, like let's say you get a link and you send it to that one. So it's learning together. Yeah. And then we have another cohort member named David, who is into carpentry, and he has a client from the community, from Aarohi community, and he's made like a book stand for her. And yeah, so for Srijani's project, we needed a table to set up a stall. So David was the one to make the table like a day before the day before the project. So yeah, that way we all help each other out. Yeah, and we also needed a photographer and another core member whose name is Hari. He's into photography, so he was like our cameraman and helping out throughout the whole trip.
Yeah, it's like we learn individually, and also we kind of come together and do stuff together. And apart from all these projects, all the daily workouts and stuff like that, we also kind of spend time together, like being part of different stuff. Like we plan together and we kind of reflect together, and we also take up one topic each week to kind of develop each of ourselves like like individual and skills that we want to develop together. So those are few stuff that we do. Like in planning also, we kind of, I would say, grill each other and add value to each other and question and kind of do all this stuff during our planning also. So yeah.
We also have fun together, like we play games and stuff in the evening. We have a, like, I wouldn't say a rule, but we kind of have an understanding that some of it should add value. Like even the game should be valuable to us. Like they could help us with our reflection, documentation, or just in general improving, let's say, a skill that we don't have. Like so, this week we had picked up presentation skills and public speaking as an objective for development, self-development, and we all researched on a topic and presented to our cohort, and like everyone had like a 2-minute speech on whatever topic they chose. So we do those kind of activities as well to, in general, develop, depending on however we decide like what we want to do. Together we decide, even if someone is not they're ready to do it, we kind of push them to be a part of developing and learning.
Yeah, at the same time, we crack jokes, senseless jokes, absolutely senseless jokes, and laugh at each other a lot. Yeah, as I was talking about the reflection part, we also come together every day at the evening and sit together and reflect back about our whole day, how it has been, and all. And one point that I also want to talk about is that we also document our whole week. Like as Ratnesh was mentioning, this whole Coversity journey or open learning journey is like a journey. It kind of goes on and on. So for that, for us, we need to get like we wanted to build our portfolios for each of us. So for that, we started documenting weekly to like we all wanted to blog our weekly learnings, stuff that we did and all of that in our blog and post it. So yeah, like we are kind of preparing ourselves for to make a portfolio. That's going on.
Are you guys open for others to shoot questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, artillery team, start firing. So yes, these guys are there for some more time, so you can go ahead and ask them questions, ask them about their experiences, whatever you have in mind, you can check with them, and you can check with them about their current Coversity journey. And if you are interested also about their previous, the younger open learning journey, when they were little younger, now they are like serious guys. Not so serious, but yeah. So yeah, please go ahead. The floor is open. You can grill them. And you can use chat also, and you can use voice. More people can come on video also and kind of connect. I'm removing the spotlight also. We can all just be in a little. Yeah, it's nice to have more people on video and audio and talking. Feels more like we're sitting in a room.
Is anyone?
Not yet. I think
Asking
everybody's
question is
thinking.
more difficult. Asking question is more difficult than being part of Coversity.
Okay, Pranav has a question in chat. He's saying, how about someone who's yet to discover his or passion? How does they go like that person, and how to coach? So maybe you can talk about, let's say, somebody like Aparna or somebody like Eden who are exploring. Yeah.
So what I've seen is they don't usually they don't have like a very rigorous plan, like focusing on one thing the whole day and having different conversations with like the same type of people. They delegate time for different projects, mostly like 2-3 projects a day, and there's no as long as I've seen, there isn't like a very long time period for their projects. They just have like a short um they're just exploring, so it's really short, the projects. They don't take up something big.
Yeah. Can you give those details? Like, for example, what Aparna is doing multiple things, or how Eden is doing, whatever you are aware of.
Okay. So Eden is into cooking, as Drupad was mentioning. Eden is into cooking, and he's also not very sure if he's going to continue in cooking, or he's also dabbling into trading also. So these are the two domains that he felt is interesting for him a bit. So that he started off taking a small project in cooking. He's into Italian dishes, so he took a small project in making cooking in the Italian dishes. And he also at the same time took a small project for every day for and trading also. Like he started doing stuff, exploring what that domain is, doing different stuff in it, researching, and all of that is happening. So as he go along, he's also kind of thinking if this suits me or not, what else can I do. He's also asking us, like as I said, we in the planning sit together and start discussing. So generally, like Eden, he keeps on telling like different stuff, like he's sometimes stuck, he doesn't know what to do about like what kind of cooking I want to do or how I want to go about it. We all keep giving suggestions. Sometimes we make him even more confused. That always happens. Like he kind of comes to us when sometimes, and also sometimes he kind of figure it out. We also have guides. Sometimes the guide kind of questions him and triggers his thinking, and all of that stuff happens. So yeah,
So
now
I think,
that he started doing stuff.
yeah, I think also if someone is lost, there's plenty of things happening in Aarohi campus that people can, they can be a part of.
You guys must be doing something right, because you have my 2-year-old's attention since 5 minutes, and that's really that speaks. I wanted to ask one thing. Do you ever feel a lack of structure? I mean, that's a question we often put on in such tasks or such projects. Do you feel a lack of structure?
I actually feel there's quite a little too much structure because we meet 3 times a day and I don't really get time to do my projects. So that's something I want to bring up with the Coversity team to reduce maybe those meetings by 1 or something. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's about that we make the structure. So yeah, go
I think
ahead.
whoever has the projects, they structure it their own way because there is plenty of time to do your stuff. And that would be if the person is really interested in whatever they've taken up, they will make their own structure and go by it. That's of course if they're genuine about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add, so the whole idea is to have a lot of rigor in creating that structure itself, which is what the word that they are using is planning. The word I think you are using is structure. I think they are the same. They're synonyms in that sense. So a lot of detailing goes into what they are doing, how they are doing. As Rupert was saying, there are lots of discussions about them. Okay, and everybody's pushing, and there are guides to also further question you and ask you and share with you. So, and then there's a whole community who knows what you are doing. So it's not just one guy. Imagine the whole community, and they can. So there's a lot of rigor, a lot of thinking through as to what all I need to do, and hence kind of structure my day, week, month, or structure the whole. If they are doing a project, then structure the project. If they're doing something else, then structure that. So just that the term that they are using is more the term we use commonly is planning. Yeah.
I also want to add that
Thank you.
I would also like to add that I feel that they would never feel a lack of structure because they have more responsible structure, which is self-led structure. They are creating their own structures and it is very like they are themselves responsible for it. So they'll never feel a lack of it.
Okay, I absolutely get that. I can I ask one more question? Is there space? How does this forum work? Because I can ask countless questions on this. Can I?
Please go ahead and ask countless questions.
Okay. So, see, we work with rural community, right? And it's strange. Uh, for example, got some children were taken out of our school for the reason that people said that आप class के बाहर ज़्यादा पढ़ा रहे हो ये चलेगा नहीं. So in Hindi that means you're teaching outside classroom setting more, and that's not appropriate. So, some child said, today we sat under the tree. Today we went to see how solar cooking is being done in the campus. We did some solar cooking ourselves. We did that, and 20 admissions like last year. Just the parents took them out. This is a rural India mindset. How do you scale this thing? I mean, I understand, but I want to hear from Drupad and Srijani. How would you think about, I mean, you are clearly enjoying this structure, your own innovative method of doing things, your own projects, and it gives you a great sense of, as I may interpret it, a sense of pride also, and a sense of freedom. And like you said, even 3 time meals are too much structure for you. uh, how do we inculcate these things to scale? I mean, I guess this can be can be answered later on also, can be answered by anybody else also, but I would like to hear your thoughts.
Are the parents concerned that you're like showing them not the classroom stuff, or
Yeah, so these are children of daily wage laborers, okay, who themselves have never had an education, sort of. And right, it's like Sarkar, like the government told us few years back, everybody should study, should go to the school, and now you are teaching children outside of the school setting. What are you doing? So first you would ask us to bring them in school, and then you teach them outside of the school. What are you doing? How can you get the real message across? Just want to understand from you, your perspective.
I think there should be you should try and explain to them that you're teaching them real life stuff instead of just theory, and that would go a long way more than just the normal academics.
And I also
Yes, sir.
feel once you start experiencing it, rather than studying it or doing something else, but rather when you start experiencing it, doing it, I feel it's much better understood and much better, um, you know, got into it kind of thing.
I agree. I mean, see, this kurta I am wearing is made by a child who wanted to do block printing. It's that. So, and she's good at it. She recently gotten employed. Uh, but this message somehow gets lost in the typical structure of society, and that was the structure I was more or less referring about. Not at that scale, but at a daily
So
life scale.
Kartikeya, it is not just about rural. It is as much. It is nothing about rural at all. It's
Okay.
it's across society. It's whether it's small or big, or whatever, or rural or urban, socially rich or poor or whatever, any status. So what I'm trying to say, it's a mindset that has been drilled over few generations, let's say, and you're supposed to be less than others if you are not part of something. So that's the whole thing that's been built up. So I think the whole idea is that as many who are able to go along, at least those become example for others. So I think it has to grow very organically. I don't think there is any magic, because there's so much else which
It's a
is being
long-term thing.
programmed. It's a long-term thing, absolutely. Yeah, Drupad, you want to share something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, the whoever made the kurta for you, if their parents are concerned, and if like over some time she starts her own, even no matter how small the business is, if she starts it, then she'll automatically learn about business, which is very important. And through doing, she's gonna learn. And once the parents start seeing, let's say it's successful and she starts earning money, then I think there'll be a lot less questions asked.
True.
And that's a very, very nice point, and that's absolutely true. In the case of this kurta, it was made by Sita, and uh, unfortunately, in one sense, she never had parents. She was an orphan. She came to us as an orphan. She has elder siblings who also grew up with us. Now, because they know this whole structure, so the siblings are completely approving of it. So in the case of Sita, it's good, but in normal circumstances, it's difficult.
Gosh, I think Karthik, it will take time. That's the whole thing. That doesn't
Absolutely.
stop us from doing what we think is meaningful and relevant for them. There's another
Of course.
question. Yeah, sorry, from Pranav. He's saying, he's asking about the guides at campus. He's asking, are they full time? Are there multiple guides? What's the question?
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, we one thing we do is like each of us, each cohort members, parents, and one of the parents should be a guide, not just for us, but for the whole community, for the whole cohort members. So those are few guides, and apart from just the parents, we also have Ratnesh, Kitika, who are like always the guides. And according to feasibility, few people come at campus, and few people we uh, like on a regular basis we keep connecting with the guides online. So yeah, and we also have discords
Also,
where we have regular connection too. Yes,
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
wanted to also say that these guides are not domain specific. They are just generic guides that would help us find guides in our domain. So that's their job. That's what we're supposed to ask them for. That's what we expect of them. So if I don't get a guide for website designing, you're in trouble.
Okay. So more questions to them. They're here for another 5-10 minutes. So if you would like to know anything, and you need not limit it to their current Coversity journey. They've both been open learners, so you can ask them about their open learning per se and whatever. So this is more for, I see a lot of people in this meetup. Please go ahead, use this opportunity. At least they're there for another 10 minutes or so. I promise them I'll let them go and not eat into too much of their time. And then we all can chit chat more after they have left. So next 10 minutes, yeah, please shoot them questions.
There's one question in the chat. What specifically prompted you to get associated with Aarohi?
Let's Jenny take this one.
Okay, I don't know, like we are a part of community for about 2 years or something, and we know Aarohi. So now that there's an amazing opportunity that I can start building my uh, like my career and with Aarohi, and I have been part of Aarohi, and I know how amazing the community is, how we support each other and add value to each other, kind of thing. So I felt it's a good opportunity. Why not try it?
Aarohi rocks.
Drupad, you
Okay,
seem like a skilled tactician. You know, the way you just passed that question around, very nice.
There's one more question from Samiksha. Guys, you can look up the chat. She's asking about domain will need a different kind of infrastructure to develop and explore. And do you build infrastructure together? She's saying architecture will need a lot of stationery. Like Srijani needs a lot of butter for making all the buttercreams and cakes and stuff like that. And she keeps feeding us with her samples. So I don't know whether what she will build, we will build big tummies for sure. We get to eat her cupcakes every day.
By infrastructure, do you mean just like resources or like the guides as well? I don't get the question completely.
By infrastructure, I mean like I gave the example of stationery for architecture. So like Srijani must be needing a lot of bakery instruments like vessels and like Ratnesh said butter. So to keep in one place. I
Yeah.
mean
Yeah, I
stores should.
think to some, yeah. I think to a certain extent we will get if we need over here, but if not, there's always Hosur and Bangalore close by cities that um, the person can go to and practice over there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, at
yeah,
least
So
yeah,
you need to
Shijani, you can go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, like
you constantly
as
need to
his
travel.
we don't need to travel, things get to us. Like as Ratnesh said, the Aarohi is like all around and people keep traveling here, like to and fro from Aarohi. So sometimes those people get, sometimes we have multiple rights to market from our community only to get different supplies. And if I have any specific need in a resource or something, like I can borrow it from any person, or I can buy it personally, or as a community, if it's helpful for everyone, we can bring from the community as well the resources, whatever it is, like a knife or whatever it is.
Also, as Drupad was mentioning, we can see where a particular resource, let's say a particular machine, let's just take an example, could exist outside. It doesn't need to exist. Everything doesn't need to exist inside the campus. The whole world is our campus. And not just the world is our campus, all the people outside are our guides and mentors. Right? So yesterday, Shijin, you want to share, you went to different bakers and meet them and show them your cakes. So you want to little talk about that? So everybody out there you met so many people out on the street, so everybody is like a mentor there. Yeah, just little share
Yeah.
what you guys were trying yesterday.
Yeah, like we like, as I said, I wanted to make buttercreams go out to the world and get feedback from them, from the experts, and also from the people around me. So for that I made the cakes, and these people were like life saviors for me. They kind of Aparna and Sriya were there till 12 o'clock with me, helping me in making all the buttercreams and cakes and stuff. Drupad and Eden, David and Hari were very in helping in the setting up the stall, bringing that table, like washing the utensils, like everywhere they were like at my back doing that. And also when as we went on and we traveled Hosu to get some feedback from one expert. Like I went there and showed my sample of a cake, and he very open, like very sweetly he talked to me about, like he explained me about the cakes and all, how I can further develop my skill in baking cakes. He also gave me feedback like on the cake, like how else can I improve and all of that. So he was very sweetly and openly shared about it. And through the contacts, I also went to one home baker in Hosur only, and she also kind of sweetly welcomed me into her home and showed me like how she works, and she also gave me some tips and tricks how can I improve. And these are two experts I met, and after that we all together put up a stall on the street, and we gave the cakes to every people we could see, and they gave us like little feedback about whatever they felt. So that's how it happened. Like seriously, I don't even remember those faces who I have given my cake and who added lots of value to my, like gave feedback and to my cakes. So yes, that's how it went. And it was also so lots of fun included as we were traveling and stuff like that.
That's so great to know actually, because when we studied architecture, we hardly used to go out in the market. That was only during our submission times. And it was the whole, I mean, all 5 years were just into concept, concept making. And when we went out in the practical world, we started doing our projects. It was quite tough to deal with the carpenters and the workers and the clients also. So this is a great thing that you go to the market and experiment and talk to people. It's very good.
And this is at the core of the whole
Yeah.
concept of Coversity, that you don't do something at home. You actually go out, do work for clients, for industry, for people out there. You're trying to directly add value to the world, and the world will automatically add value either through learnings or feedback, or hopefully in due course of time even paying you for your work. So that's the whole idea. Out there, do work out there real time, and because you are doing work real time, that's when your learning is whatever, both I would say very meaningful or contextual, as well as it's kind of compounding, it's kind of adding to your learning at a at an exponential rate.
I think progression is also like good. So instead of directly going to clients that are like strangers, we have a lot of people. We can do work for Aarohi. Like there's plenty of work to do in any field, and there are also people from the Aarohi community, not necessarily at campus, but even they would need. Like I was given an example of David, who's into carpentry, and he found a parent. His client is a parent, an Aarohi parent, and his first project is for her. So that way it's like a progression. You do work over here first, and then you can get work outside campus, and you're a little more confident. So that's how progression goes in campus.
Yeah, there's another question in chat from Sunita. She's asking, do you felt void of formal education?
So what does void mean?
An emptiness that no, you're missing out or something.
Okay. So not really. I don't know what to say. Not really. I have been to formal education for a lot of years, and after that, when I started being an open learner, I don't know. I never felt void about taking this path. It's fun and also challenging. So yeah, I like this. So
I can share a small experience with you. I am an engineer, and until till my sixth semester, so this was 10 years ago, I had 6 backs. Backs are like you fail these subjects, right? And not because I was extremely stupid. I'm not, but because I would just do scratches in the paper because it did not make sense to me why I'm learning Fourier transforms if I what does it is have to do with the real world. And then I went to Germany to learn under Wolfgang Scheffler. He invented Scheffler reflectors, solar reflectors, large solar reflectors. And he just sent me to his workshop with a few other guys. And we made 400 solar tracking systems, circuits which follow the sun. When I came back, I cleared all my subjects in a week. People couldn't believe it. And the thing is, I did not study for them like you would for 6 subjects or 6 engineering subjects. You will need like a month to study, and there are gaps in exam. The thing is, I just could relate everything. I just could relate, and I had not gone out before, and it changed my career path. I was to become a drummer, but then I switched back to no, I love technical things. I love science, and the door to science should be open, and it should be by tangible, touchable things. You do science, that's how you get science, right? So I completely get what you guys are saying, and that's all my personal effort at Vatsalya is
And
here.
Kartika, it's not just for science. You do
Yeah,
anything and you learn that,
absolutely, absolutely.
including block printing. Yes.
I absolutely. I actually tend to relate everything to science because everything in a way is science. But
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Sure. Sure.
so I would like feedback for. I'll just drop my website in this chat. I would like a feedback, and the most negative feedback is welcome. I'll join the next meeting as well. I would like to speak. listen maybe 2 or 3 minutes, if that's possible, Ratnesh on this forum, because I
Not
like
in this
the
forum,
environment.
Karthikeya. Wait. So please
Yeah.
don't drop anything here. We will have a separate discussion and we will create. Don't worry. We'll create for you. Let's
I would
go
like
one
to
step
hear
at a
from
time.
Drupad and Srijani out
Yes,
open
yes,
learners like this.
you can
That's all.
invite anybody and everybody. That's not an issue, right?
Okay.
We'll create that. Let's go step by step. Let's not start jumping into it. Yes, yeah.
No problem. No problem.
Please realize that the people who are part of these meetups have come to understand more what is open learning and all. Yes, we can definitely support you in your endeavor, but yeah, we'll create separate
My
occasion
bad.
for that. Yeah.
Apologize.
Yeah, thank you. No,
I
it's absolutely fine.
I just get too
Excited. Yes, I can see that excitement, and great to see that excitement. Super. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are a few more questions. Santosh is asking, how do these Coversity projects get financed? Do you want to answer that?
My projects so far have been like they don't need any financing, so I can't answer this.
And we have our finance meet on Monday, so I can't answer that either.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll answer that question in a way. So, Santosh, it will, if the project needs a kind of financing, as in it's that large, then it has to be for a client, and the client should be financing it. And there has been projects which have been financed by the clients because it's a bigger project and the clients need that and they're ready to kind of pay for it because they are getting the benefit of the project, because these projects are not just in-house project. So the idea is to, I would say, very sooner or later do the projects for the world, and then the world starts financing you, if not paying you as a remuneration, at least taking the tab of the costs involved if there are as and when. So for example, right now what the project David is doing is very innovative kind of bookshelves out of coconut shells. Waste coconut shells, he's converting that into bookshelves. So now this project right now doesn't need any financing because first of all, coconut shells are freely available. Most people just chuck them away. But more interestingly, right now he's at the design stage. But let's say his designs get approved and the client says, yes, I want, let's say 50 of those. Then obviously she will have to pay for the material, right? At least even if she says that, oh, I can't remunerate the designer, but she will have to take the tab for that. So that's how that's how the financing would probably go about there. And interestingly, that's part of the deal. If you need finance for a project, then that's part of the deal to find somebody to finance you. It could be one person, it could be the client, it could be the world, crowdfunding, whatever. So they will go ahead and do that. And that is part of their learning journey, because in life also, if you want to start an enterprise and you need finance, you want to pitch for it. You've got to get the funds for it, right? So that's the whole idea. Okay. Sunita is saying, I feel balance is important, whether formal or non-formal. But balance between what, Sunita? You will have to, are you saying, as in balance between what? Maybe that will help understand the question. Are you saying between learning the concepts and applying it? Is that what you're saying?
No, Ratnesh, I think that was, hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was in response to the question that I asked the other way around. When there is a void that can be filled with formal education, why the similar void cannot be filled by somebody like me and others who have went through a complete formal education, a void for the non-formal education? That was the question. It was just for, for myself and everybody else.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, I saw your thought, but okay, there is okay, we'll take one last questions and then I'll at least let Drupad and Srijani leave. So the last question says, does Coversity work for every field like medical?
Can I answer?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I think for a field like this, you would need like a formal education, because no one will trust some random person saying I'm a doctor. So in like something like this, there is a way to do it. I think you can do homeschooling and then go through that route. Like I can give you an example of a kid that wanted to be a pilot. He was in Aarohi a few years back. So obviously he can't just be a pilot. He can't just get flying time. I mean, like flying hours just like that. So he had to do his formal education, and I think I'm not sure, but that's what he started doing. I don't know if he's still doing it, but that's another route you can go through.
Yeah.
Is that the system's fault, or is it simply not possible? They're two separate things.
No, it's very much possible, Kartike. And who's asked the question, Shraddha, that if let's say I want to run, so the question that is to be asked is, why do I want to get into the medical field? If I want to do surgery on people, then obviously I need to get a proper certification for that, and that's fair enough. There are few fields which require, just like Drupad was saying, if you want to fly an aeroplane, then other people's life is at risk. You can't try it out there in the air. But if you want to run a business of, or not even business, it could be business or whichever, of let's say a hospital. Yeah, you can come up with a totally innovative hospital system or a medical service system or a wellness system, and that doesn't necessarily require you any certificate. You can hire doctors for your team or any other professional who needs a certification. In the same way, you can run an airlines without ever knowing how to fly an aeroplane. So it depends on what's your purpose. If you want to do surgery, well, you can't without a degree of doctor. But if you want to provide surgery to people in different forms, in different ways, well, there is enough innovation, I would say, required in the field of medicine, wellness, and a lot of it is happening, but there is much, much more required. And all of that will come because, not because people are doctors, but because people mean well for wellness for others and add value to their wellness. Yeah. So that's the interesting part. Yeah, I can give you examples, but let's not get into too much detail, but just to get an idea that yes, any field can be explored from any perspective with or without a certification. The second thought, I don't know what to say. Okay, so we'll pause here as far as Drupad and Srijani are concerned. We'll let them go. So thanks, Drupad, thanks, Srijani, for being here and sharing some of your time. And we'll keep getting these Coversity guys at least once in a month to talk about what are they up to, just to show to the world what they are doing and for the world to grill them. So next time, please grill them more. And I'm sure things can work both ways. It will benefit them, and them talking to you all will benefit you all. So I think the connections will be made. So thanks, Drupad. Thanks, Srijani. We all can continue. We have still about 28 more minutes, half an hour more for more questions on open learning and about homeschooling, unschooling, open learning, Aarohi, Coversity, anything we can talk about.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Bye. It was lovely
Thank you,
interacting with everyone.
Okay, Shraddha, I'm not so sure I understand your question. Is your question saying that can we guide you to give practical approach to your daughters? Is that what you are saying? Maybe you can come on mic, that would really help.
Yes, Ratnesh.
Yeah, so please share your question in a more detailed way so that we can understand that.
Actually, my daughters are doing homeschooling since 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm living in Gujarat right now. So the atmosphere is environment is totally different than the south. So it is not possible to give practical approach in each subject or in every field for me to give my daughters. I'm not, I think I'm not giving 100% to them because the environment or society is totally different here. The South people are more aware about it. So what I should do for the practical?
So first of all, Shraddha, I don't think it's anything to do with South or Gujarat or North or whatever. That just doesn't matter. It's the same everywhere. People are same everywhere. The best news that I can give you is that there are people doing homeschooling, unschooling, home open learning, whatever word we call it, all across the country. And that is where the people come in. That is where a community comes in. That is why we are a community. That's why we are not doing it alone, because there is so much to both get and give to each other. And when that getting and giving happens, then the practical approach that you are talking about happens. Preeti, you want to jump in, share some interesting stories?
I
Preeti
was
is in
actually
Mumbai.
thinking,
She's part of Gujarat, kind of, right? Mumbai is like half.
yeah,
Half of the Mumbai is Gujarat only.
Gujarat. Arey, my husband is Gujarati. What more?
That's why I said half.
Yeah, I'm also half Gujarati that way. So yeah, Shraddha, we have in community Gujarat people from Gujarat and all over the country, and in fact, not only the country but also from outside. So I'm actually in the lift and I'm moving around, so I don't know how much I can.
We can hear you. We can hear you. But yeah.
Ratna, you take over.
Okay. So the whole idea, Shraddha, is that when we are connected with a lot of people, so you are right. One of us can't do everything for everybody, right? So I'm totally with you. I'm also, if I'm just alone, I will feel, oh, how will I add all kinds of values to my child's life? How will I bring all resources? How will I bring all approaches? So I will be in just like you thinking, but that's where the community comes in. You connect with more families wherever they are. The geography is not important. Please take that south, north, east, west out. Right? There are people all over the world, and there are people ready to connect. And that's why we are in a community. We support each other, help each other. We come up with things that we like doing. For example, Preeti is traveling, so I'm not bothering her, but they have been doing a radio project, which means they create radio shows on different themes. Obviously, they don't have an actual radio, but they use web radios kind of thing. And now that's a very interesting thing where you prepare a program. So a group of community members, they could be children, they could be adults, they team up and they produce a radio show on any theme that requires all kinds of skills, researching skills, talking skills, creating content skills, writing skills, scripting skills, theater, music, all kinds of skills. Okay, it's completely practical because you're doing a show. Let's say even a creation of half an hour show requires at least a week's, intense work, right? So this group, including since Preeti is here, I'm just taking an example of which Preeti is involved quite a bit into. And we have done many shows. I can send you a link. You can hear to their shows, these kids. And so the kids become RJs and sometimes adults become RJs and they became theater and lots of things they do in that. They add fun, they add music, they add stories, they have all kinds of things. And that's the that kind of I will call that as a very practical exposure. And that's not happening in one city. These are people in their respective homes across the country who are collaborating and creating this in real time online. So that's the beauty of it. It doesn't even need to be physically together, right? But if you want to be physically together, so like that's just one example. It's really up to each individual what kind of exposure you want. Yeah. And Pranav is also adding that in the last Saturday meetup, we had Vishruti as our guest, who is from Gujarat. So yeah. So the idea is that let's just as these Coversity guys were also saying, for anything, the guide can be anybody, but mentors specific to a particular field can't be the same person. My parent can't give me mentoring in every field because my field could be very different from my parents' field. And the parent isn't even expected to do that. The parent is more like a guide to guide them into the world and say, use the world Okay, we keep saying to children, hey, you are at the center of the universe. Everybody out there is for you. Now you go ahead and see how you want to connect with them. Look at everybody as your support, friend, guide, mentor, and you have zillion people out there to help you. Isn't that what YouTube is doing? YouTube is bringing zillions of mentors right on my screen, whom I can plug in without even knowing who they are. I don't even need to look at their name. Their content is there, their tips are there, their thoughts are there. There's so much to learn from, whether it's YouTube or websites or Instagram or whatever it is. So I'm saying it is so beautiful if you start thinking that every person out there on the street, out there in Gujarat, in India, and in this whole world is a guide, a mentor, a person to connect with and get practical knowledge from. You think like that,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah,
Preeti is
Ratnesh, I would
back in
like to
action.
add here,
Yes,
like,
yes, yes.
yeah. So just adding here that, we like totally understand what you're saying, that the mindset and that homeschooling children and all that. But then when there is a community like we, Rohi, are a community of more than 25 to 30 families together, who are all like-minded families, and we are sitting at different places, but we are connected together so well that like we are just maybe a Zoom call away, or just a message away, or just a personal call away. And we also, whenever we are traveling or doing things, then also we make it a point that we visit to each other's places, and we also go to campus together, and all of those things happen. And then when all of this happens together, then this journey of homeschooling or open learning or unlearning like goes pretty well. That's what I can add.
Also, I would like to add, Preeti, is Misty your daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Misty is doing really well. She's only 10 years old, but the amount of knowledge and she has into different areas. I mean, I've been inspired so much with her. She has taken some 6 days or 5 days classes where my daughter was a part of it. And hats off to Misty. A child of only 10 years old has so much to talk about, so much to give to other kids of her age and smaller than her. So I think this is what all is inspiring me, that okay, I need to seriously think about open learning.
So honestly, I don't know who was saying that, but very honestly, this all very much goes to Aarohi, the kind of community we have had in last more than 3 years now, and the way we have been exposed to so many things, and so many people, and so many ideas, so many thought processes, so many ways of doing same thing. So all thanks to Aarohi. I would just full gratitude and thankfulness to the community.
I would love to have Misty sometime on board so that she can share her experiences. That in like at the age of 10 years, she is like so mature into talking. She has taken classes on cooking, on English
Bus, bus,
conversation.
bus, bus.
I was like so surprised. We don't know anything, and we were like, okay. I along with my daughter was sitting, and I was telling, oh my God, kids are like,
So
what
Sunita,
kind of a learning?
you have met
Tell me.
one Mishti. Okay, in my last 15 years, I must have met about what, 6,000 Misties or 5,000 Misties, whatever number. Meaning, I don't know. Let's forget the number part. But just imagine there are
The first
so
thought
many
of
Misties.
unschooling is such, it's like I'm also so much in dilemma, because the first move is always very difficult. So
Fair enough.
you
Again, that
over
is
a
why there
period of,
is a community. There are people, talk to them, not just, I mean, yes, Mishti is there and Preeti is there, and there are many such more Misties of all different ages, Srijini or Drupad. For that, each of these children, including like how Kartike was saying, this girl, Sita, who has done this beautiful kurta. I mean, I'm already envying his kurta. Right? So I'm saying this is, we need to see the potential in these kids. We are trying to look outside the window and saying, oh, the world is like that, but the world is not what we see out of the window. The world is what is inside us. That's our world. And that's what we need to really explore. The rest is just an environment, it's an ecosystem, but the real world is inside each one of us, in each child. And if we recognize that, then each one is such an amazing inspiration, each of them. That's the whole idea. Including, yes, obviously Mishti is such an inspiration. Yeah, more
May I
questions,
ask
Mutaki?
for how long Mishti has been an unschooler, or was she? And initially also she has been associated with Aarohi.
She is also a Malcolm player. I think parents can add more. But what I understood from 5 or 6 days of her workshop, she is also a Malcolm player, very good with cooking. She has
Oh,
taken.
bas, Sunita, hello. Bas. Okay, that we can
कितने
discuss
समय से
later.
आरोही से
Okay.
जुड़ी हुई है मिष्टी? कितने समय से आरोही से जुड़ी हुई है?
Kartikeya, 3 years, 3 years.
Three
So
years. Okay.
we started in 2020 with Aarohi when the COVID hit. Before that, yes, she was going to school till second standard. She has done schooling, and
Okay.
when third standard started and COVID hit, she did not want to do online schooling, which was very common that time. It started that way, and she rejected online schooling. And when we connected with Ratnesh, Aditi, and we started Aarohi, and then also it was online for her because we are in Mumbai and campus is in Bangalore, and anyway we couldn't anybody couldn't travel anywhere. So then also it was online. Aarohi was also online for her, but she was very happy and satisfied, and she was very happily joining each and everything and being part of Aarohi very actively on online platform, whereas she had rejected online schooling.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Right. So to the group, if you have more questions, as I said, about homeschooling, unschooling, open learning, Coversity, or Aarohi, we have another 10-15 minutes. We can answer that. Just a reminder, we meet every Saturday, and sometimes there are guests that we call, like last time we called Vishruti, who's an open learning family in Gujarat, but sometimes we just discuss in more detail. So every Saturday we are there at 5 o'clock. And that's the whole idea. When you are thinking of starting, it's important, I would say, from my little experience, to meet more people, to interact with more people. That's when you will get more understanding. I'm not saying you will get more confidence. Your anxieties, your fears, your concerns are yours. You will have to figure that part out, but you will get more understanding of what happens. And one way for us to offer that is we also offer a stay visit where people can come, families can come and stay here. And really, we mean the whole family coming, because that's really what helps. So come and stay with us for a week. There are certain weeks earmarked. If you go to our website, you will see there's a calendar and you can see which week. So you can come and stay and experience how this community is doing open learning. And that's apart from these meetups, that's the other thing that we can offer, right? Come and meet us physically, right? So that is the other option that I can offer you.
Yeah.
It's very nice to have this forum, sir. And I also appreciate the deep honesty in some points, because sometimes extremism doesn't help. Like you said that in a medical profession or becoming a pilot, you need the formal certificate. So I'm very good to hear that Aarohi is very open in all the aspects. Some social systems are there. Sometimes extremism in unschoolers also is like, no, everything is absolutely possible. So of course we are living in a society where there are certain limitations. So grateful for that. Is a day visit possible? I will be in Bangalore in September. Is a day visit
the day
possible?
visit is on Thursdays. Just look up the calendar. I've given both the links in the chat. They're obviously on the website also. So you'll have to refer to the calendar, and yes, day visit is possible.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Just wanted to, Kartike, add to what you like, share something on what you were saying. Honesty and transparency are core of Aarohi. That is what I have seen, and that is why I'm like married to Aarohi.
I can
Seema.
feel that in your voice.
Seema has a raised hand. Yeah, Seema, please go ahead.
It's not
You're on
unmute.
mute, Seema. You'll have to unmute yourself. Oh, sorry. Good evening, everyone. I want to ask for how long should I visit there? Should I be there in order to understand the proper working and like to have a clarity about what Aarohi is doing and uh, how practical it is to have a child there or to unschool a child and do it at our own capacity or our own end. So how much ideal stay should be there in order to understand the concept properly?
Before
Okay.
anything formally comes in, Ratnesh, let me say this. Since 3 years, I have not been able to understand completely. So I don't think there is any time limit to learning.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, one
Yeah,
of
but
my
sorry,
daughter
just to
is
add to that before you is that what we offer is a 1 week stay, which is Monday to Friday, 5 days. That's like
okay.
that's like the starter, you can call it. And once you come visit for 1 week, if, as Preeti is saying, you want to explore more, then you keep coming back. There are people who keep coming every year because otherwise they, for whatever reason, they're not be able to part of the community, but they want to stay connected, and we all keep learning from each other. So it's really up to each individual. Plus you keep coming for these meetups. Plus, if you want to be part of the community from whichever city you are from your home, you can be part of the community, in which case, again, you are on a constant basis learning. So all the possibilities are there. Yeah, but to start with, 5 days, week stays there. Yeah, sorry, you had a
Okay.
follow-up thought. Yeah.
So can we plan in any month or is there any restriction or some
Yeah, just
stipulated
check out
time
the
to
link
visit?
in the chat. Yeah, there's a certain weeks which are allocated for guests, and it's only in those weeks. It's not like any week, because there are some other schedule and children are also busy with some other projects and stuff like that. So we plan it like that so that it doesn't disrupt the children who are regularly here, they're working, as well as there is a window of, or rather an opportunity for other families to interact and come and experience. And it's a pleasure even for all of us to learn and interact from all the guests who come. So it's not a one-way thing.
Okay.
We also benefit because you're not going to come
Sir.
here and just see. It's going to be a together. You will be part of the community for that week. So there's still a give and take.
Exactly.
So we also value the guests coming. And as I said, but it can't be every week. So there's a calendar. You just look up the calendar and yeah, you can see which week works out for you.
Okay. Sir, one more thing. I have 4-year-old child, so can I take him along for 1 week if I'm there to stay?
Sure.
Or will
I
it
would
create
say
some
we
problem?
wouldn't even allow you without your child. Why would you come?
Okay.
Why
That's
would you
so
come? It's a
nice.
family thing. Open learning is all about the family, right? Why would you even want to come here without your child? This is not
Exactly.
there are no, in fact, we say there are no adults, no children. There are only learners here. So for us, whether you are 4-year-old or whether you are Seema, everybody is a learner, and you come here as a learner. You don't come here as a parent or a child. Everybody comes here as a
Okay.
learner, as
Thank
a
you.
doer. And believe me, everybody is treated equally. Everybody does things equally. And that's the beauty of it.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I'm eagerly waiting to be a part of there exactly.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Which
Thank you
city
so
are
much.
you from, Seema?
From Delhi, sir.
From Delhi. Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. More questions? Anybody?
Ratnesh sir, would you mind sharing your email ID? Maybe,
Yeah,
or is
I've
there
just
is
shared the WhatsApp to. I will also share the official email ID. It's yeah. So you can either WhatsApp. These are both Aarohi number and Aarohi WhatsApp. You can
okay?
you can ping us on the WhatsApp and we'll definitely respond, or email. Either is fine. Absolutely. I think you
Thank
had
you.
also registered for this through the website. Yeah. So we have your email
Yeah.
ID. Yeah. We have your record also.
Actually, I think Aditi ji messaged me the link for this. So
Sure. Yeah. So you would have received an email also from us that also has the email ID. You can use that email.
all right. I think it's 5 minutes left, but I'll have to take my leave. Thank you so much sir, for
Most
this.
welcome.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Others, if you still have a question, we have Purvi, Samiksha, Seema, Sunita. I mean, Santosh is there very regularly. Santosh, I'm not taking your name. You will obviously ask or talk whenever. It's a pleasure to have you. Shraddha, anybody wants to ask or talk? We have 5 more minutes. Okay. So looks like we are kind of, we've had lots of discussions today. So yeah, okay. So yeah, I think it's a good time to pause now. And as I said, we are there every Saturday. And I've already shared the WhatsApp and all. If you still have questions, you can reach out to us. And yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend and stay connected. Yep. Thank you.